Tarantula hawk.
If you ever see one of these things flying around, you're like, what the hell?
Is this a common insect in Texas?
In far west Texas, yeah. But you gotta watch out because they don't always travel alone. I've been followed by one, then I realized there's about 4 of them, and they're kind of circling me, and I'm like,
you have just fueled my nightmares.
Thank you for that. All right, everybody, welcome out to the Lager Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, September 28th, 2021. Jersey Johnny coming at you, and with me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai eating away. What are you eating today, Mr. Beer Samurai?
I got myself on the way back from work one of those street pretzels.
Oh, that's nice. So
the only way to make the things edible is to like steam them when you get home,
right?
And then put them in the toaster oven and give it a little bit of a crust back onto it.
This is true. Yeah, you can do that.
Otherwise, you can use them as weapons. I'm serious. It's not about tasting pretzels, I could say. Put over that hibachi thing, get some of the smoke into it.
Hibachi?
Have you been on the streets of New York lately? Everybody's high.
Everybody's a hibachi. I gotcha. So what did you think when you heard that intro? Really quick, think back to that Tony Drury with the tarantula hawk.
Tarantula hawk was one thing, but actually what came to my mind was actually all the spotted lanternflies we got around here.
It's amazing, right? It's crazy.
Right? Kill the things. Kill them.
Kill them all.
Yep.
I got it's weird though. Down here, I've only maybe seen 3 or 4, maybe 5. I killed them over the last month or whatever. We were up by Hackettstown a couple weeks ago. I must have been killing 3 or 4 every minute.
Wow.
There's so many up there. It's insane. But yeah, kill them all. They're pretty, but they destroy trees, and that's not a good thing. So
they're even prettier when you squish them.
Yeah, it's
because then the red comes out.
Yeah, try it. Look at it. Watch what happens. You'll get used to it. You want to do it all over and over again. So anyway, so today's a few things.
Yeah.
First, let's talk about this debate that's been going on.
So yesterday, and Brian Altschul put it perfectly. He got it absolutely 100% correct. Someone
he did.
Put something up that made everyone feel bad, and they're oh my God, I got to follow suit. And that person was wrong because they put up Happy National Sons Day.
Right.
Today is National Sons Day, sort of. It depends on it's got 2 dates.
March
none
4th.
of them being yesterday. Yeah, March 4th being one of them, which oddly enough is my oldest son's birthday.
There you go.
And I'm wearing his shirt right now.
There you go.
Actually, his name's on this side.
I was going to say, you're wearing his shirt. It fits you.
Well, it's I bought it for myself.
I'm kidding.
There's no way it would fit me. He's a medium. I'm a couple X's in there. Too many jokes in there.
Yeah, let's leave it for next time.
So,
but March 4th is the main day, but it's also celebrated on September 28th as well.
It is,
but certainly not September 27th, which is what everybody else went off on yesterday.
It was amazing how many people were putting that up.
Right, and Brian actually just said, "Happy National Sons Day, y'all." There you go.
Brian.
Happy Sons Day. Happy Sons Day to my son. I said it on Facebook before. And Daughter's Day was the other day too. I said that to my daughter.
And happy. We'll get to that soon.
We'll get to that in a second, Brian.
Right? But also happy birthday to David, Brian's son.
Happy birthday to David. Yes. No, David's birthday's in March.
I mean, happy Sons Day to
Happy
David.
Sons Day.
Ooh, yeah.
There you go.
I need a beer.
I only remember that because we were supposed to go up. He turned 21 last year at the beginning of the pandemic. We were all supposed to go up to college, and then we couldn't go. So.
And I was in Rhode Island where I was living. I was already there. I was waiting for all you guys to come up, so I had some people to drink with that understood what a good pizza is.
Exactly.
And
yeah, March 2nd is his birthday. There you go. No, it's not March 2nd. Dave made a mistake. He meant Happy Sons Day to Brian's son as well. So happy Sons Day to all the sons out there. How's that? Covers everybody. Global. All right.
That's a dried piece of pretzel. Anyway.
There's something else we want to talk about today. What is today? Today's a special day. For us, today's a special day.
Well, the Facebook memory is correct.
Mm-hmm.
About a year ago, 2 knuckleheads did their first podcast.
This is true. That would be you and I.
Mm-hmm.
That would be us. So today is our 1-year anniversary show.
Happy anniversary to us.
Happy anniversary to us. And there's a few people that actually have They wrote in and wanted to wish us happy anniversary as well.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any graphics prepared for it?
I actually do have some graphics prepared for it. Imagine that. Imagine that I did that. So, whatchamacallit? We're going to start off with Mr. Chuck Aaron.
90 popcorn.
There you go. Mr. Chuck Aaron says, happy anniversary, guys. Don't ever see John in a suit. You can't unsee that.
It's all over Facebook. You just went to a christening.
We just had a christening. I'm a godfather. And that was the trip to Hackettstown, by the way. And then we, of course, stopped in and saw Chuck up there. And then he got to see me in a suit. And obviously he can't unsee that. So.
Though probably nobody recognized you because you weren't wearing a hat.
This is true. Right. Who are you? Exactly. Yeah. So next up, we have Mr. Brian Boak.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Chuck. Absolutely. And Mr. Brian Boak says, best place to drink beer while talking beer and sports.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
And we did drink beer and we did talk sports.
We did all night long with Brian. Absolutely. Next up would be Mr. Al Gattulo. He says, happy anniversary on 1 year. Best non-famous show I've ever had the pleasure of being on.
He's not incorrect.
He's not incorrect on that one. Thank you, Al.
About this being not famous. I don't know about the being the best, but
right. This is true. Next up is Mr. Ryan Dorchak from the Cloverleaf Tavern. All the best to the boys in the lager room on their 1 year anniversary for spreading the good word of craft beer.
It's what we're here for.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ryan. Next up is Mr. Tony Drury. Here's a little lengthier one. Here we go. Tony was actually.
This should be interesting.
If you listen to the whole intro, Tony was actually in the intro. That was from the show he was on, with talking about the tarantula hawk. Anyway, this is what he said. He had to say, coming to you from a land of many, many lagers, beautiful Juarez, Chihuahua, Mexico. What do you call it? What do we say?
Felicidades.
Felicidades. Okay. Felicidades to Jersey Johnny and the Beer Samurai. Let us know if we said that right. And the Beer Samurai on their first great year of the Log Room, guys. When I was on the show, I hadn't had that much fun talking about beer in a long time, and learn a little something each time I tune in. Thanks for putting it out there for all of us, and here's to many more. Salud.
Salute, Tony, as always.
Tony. Thank you very much.
And the thing is, man, following this guy's journey through far West Texas.
Oh yeah, far West
Texas. It's just he's living a life. I'm jealous of the life he lives. It's dirty. It's probably smelly, but it's full of beer and adventure.
Absolutely. And last but not least, Mr. Rick Reed of Cricket Hill Brewing.
Oh, there's the man.
Congratulations, Jersey Johnny and the Beer Samurai, on your 1 year anniversary show. Thank you for getting people to realize they should drink what they want and drink what they enjoy and not what they're told to drink. And remember, no matter how many Coors you drink, you're not getting laid by twins. So
you may think you are.
You may think you are, but you're not. So thank you, Mr. Rick Reed. Very good.
Thanks for all the well wishes out there.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chuck Aaron from Jersey Girl Brewing, Brian Boak, Al Gattulo, and his show, Ryan Dorchak from Cloverleaf Tavern, Tony Drury, and Rick Reed from Cricket Hill Brewing.
Was it the Al Gattulo Craft Beer Show?
It's the Al Gattulo Craft Beer Show, yes. So thank you for everybody and everybody else that did write in that we weren't able to make graphics for. So we apologize, but thank you so much for all those well wishes. And we actually had a comment from Brian. He said, "Happy anniversary!"
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Happy anniversary to you too. He's been our producer right from the get-go, hasn't he?
Exactly. He's been one of the two.
Yep.
And we have another one somewhere around here.
Somewhere around here. But you know what?
I don't know why he's not commenting in. He shouldn't be commenting in.
We need his help, though.
We should. We
need his help because it's okay. So it's National Sons Day. It's our 1 year anniversary.
Yep.
And who did I just do there? Oh, that was No, what's his name? Never mind. Just as a comedian who does that. I can picture his face.
I can see what you're talking about too. I can't think of it either. So. But anyway,
Black. Lewis Black.
Lewis Black. Yeah.
3. But it's also.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, and how fortuitous for all of us, it is Drink Beer Day.
Yes, happy National Drink Beer Day, yes.
Before anybody comments, yes, we know that is every day.
Yes, every day is National Drink Beer Day, but today specifically is the marking on the calendar for it. So
yes, so let's bring some people in to help us drink some beer.
Absolutely. Hold on one second. Brian just said Lewis Black.
I said that.
I know.
But he knew what it.
Exactly.
Thanks,
and Al
Al.
wrote in, happy anniversary, boys. Thank you very much, Al. Appreciate it. And
Gotta have beers with that guy.
Why don't we bring in a couple people to help us drink beer?
Yeah, well, you do that. I'm going to lean over here and grab one of mine.
Why don't you lean over here and grab it? Let's first up, we have Mr. Tim Pewitt from Wet Ticket Brewing.
Tim who? Hey, there he is.
There he is right there. Hey, Tim, how are you?
I'm great. Just absolutely honored. It sounds like I kind of hit the jackpot. This is a big day for everybody in the world.
Absolutely.
Huh?
It's a big day. It's a good day.
Johnny and Dave, happy 1 year anniversary.
Thank you so much, Tim. We appreciate it.
And, all the acknowledgments by all those fine dignitaries.
Absolutely.
So what a day. Your 1 year anniversary, drink beer day.
It couldn't be better than this, right?
I got all the bases covered.
You got them covered.
There you go. Do you have sons, Tim?
I do. And both my sons, during my 25 years of home brewing, helped me with quite a few mashes. And, now they get to enjoy the finished product.
There you go. That's always a good thing.
Travis and Tyler.
It means you raise them right.
Absolutely. So happy Sons Day to Travis and Tyler. Awesome. All right. And we should bring somebody else in too, shouldn't we?
I think you've mentioned them before.
I think we've mentioned him before. And here is the other producer of the show. There he is right there, Mr. Matthew Potenski. Already drinking, of course.
He's already drinking beer.
Yes. I'm trying to get in the spirit of the holidays.
Too long of an intro there for you, Matt.
There you go. He couldn't wait anymore. He had to crack it open. So, all right. All right. Well, what are you drinking before we get started? So you're already drinking. So what did you pour?
So I'm drinking Turn Up the Hook Cashmere Remix from Carton.
There you go.
Nice.
Very nice.
Their Hook series. This one is with Vic's Secret and Cashmere. So really nice. Lots of citrus notes. Lots of passion fruit underneath.
Very nice.
Excellent.
And Tim, what are you drinking?
I've got one of our newest beers. It's called Pursuing Paradise, a Mexican lager.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Sounds like I'm gonna have to get up there.
Do we lime or not lime that?
We hit it at the end of in the boil and the whirlpool with a little bit of citra, just to kind of turn a little bit of a citrus corner.
Gotcha.
So no lime in mine.
Perfect.
That's always good. All right. Samurai, what are you drinking?
Oh, I've already poured my Iyengar Brauweiss.
Nice.
So we'll get that going.
I had a couple of those 2 weeks ago. We did an Oktoberfest. That's when I spoke and made Sauerbraten, which was so good.
God, I love German Weisses.
Oh yeah, such a good beer that one is. I myself am going to enjoy. I'm just finishing pouring it. Hold on. There we go. I'm going to enjoy an Oktoberfest. There you go.
There you go. From Sierra Nevada.
Sierra Nevada. There you go. Yeah, this is one of the tastier ones. We finished. Dave and I spoke before everybody that we figured we'd wrap up Oktoberfest, obviously, because it's winding down. So we're going to wrap it up on the show today, and we drink a couple of German styles and Oktoberfest beers with you guys. So that's what we did.
So,
Prost. There we go. Prost.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right. Good beer. All right. So, other than all those amazing things that we're here for today, we're also here for Tim.
Yes.
And Wet Ticket Brewing. So, Tim, we'll start off like we started with everybody else. Got to do it. Something has to be done. What was if you can remember, what was the very first craft beer you ever had? It can be an ish. It doesn't have to be specific, but.
Very first craft beer. Probably something domestic. I mean, to me, I've been doing this so long.
Sure.
That, when I had my first Bass Ale, that was craft beer.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. A lot of people have said Sam Smith's and stuff like that. And,
I drank all that, the Tatty Porter.
Sure.
Oh, yes.
That's all there was. I mean, so I guess the first domestics had to be a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Sure. Okay. Absolutely.
Or maybe a Wicked. What was it? Dave's Wicked.
Pete's Wicked. Pete's Wicked Ale. Yeah.
Pete's Wicked brand. I love that beer.
Yeah, Pete's Wicked was.
That was one of the big eye openers for me.
Like, that was a tasty beer.
This is what hops taste like.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's always a go-to. That's always one that comes up. Pete's Wicked Ale, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, Harpoon IPA. And then, of course, anything over, like the Samuel Smiths and everything else like that. So, cool. That's great. How long you been brewing? You said it before, 25 years?
Oh, geez. Probably over 30 years. Over 30 years. I came into work one day. I was working at Chase at the time. A very good friend, coworker came in. We're all, sitting around bullshitting. What'd you do over the weekend? Blah, blah, blah. One guy says, I made beer. And I was just like, you what?
You can do that?
You can do that? And it was a total revelation. I mean, literally that afternoon, I went to the newsstand. There was no internet at the time. Sure. And found a issue. I guess it was Zimmergy, and found a place out in Seattle.
There was actually an issue of Zimmergy on the newsstand. That's amazing.
Wow, that's a great newsstand.
I think it was Zimmergy. I remember his name is very good friend, the late Gary Andrasco. Great friend, great colleague at Chase. Lost him too early. He may have had the magazine. But anyway, I ended up with Liberty Malt Supply. They're out in Seattle. Gave them a call. They sent me this stuff. It came in a box. It was like a kid at Christmas.
Sure.
So I got it like on a Friday, Saturday afternoon. My brother came over. We fired it up, and actually the beer was pretty drinkable.
Nice.
And that was the beginning.
That's awesome. You remember what was it that you made?
It was an English bitter.
Okay.
Pale.
That's an interesting first beer to make.
That's a great first beer to make.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
I remember the hops came. The hops were like brown. I think they came and it looked like a baggie. I mean, it could have been a bag of weed. It was, there was no high-tech vacuum sealing back in the day.
Just packed loose inside the bag.
Yeah, I was like, geez, somebody put this in a Ziploc in their, their garage or something.
No pellets, huh?
And they probably did.
No pellets.
That's great. While we're on that, really quick, Matt, what's the first beer that you ever brewed?
The first beer that I ever brewed was actually an Irish Red.
Irish Red. Yeah. I didn't know that, but
so I did.
Put it out there.
It was a kit from a homebrew store in Brooklyn that I believe they went out of business now. But yeah, I did like one or two kits, and then I just started doing my own stuff.
There you go.
I think actually the second kit I did, I already changed. I was starting to screw around and play with stuff and
nice
hops and things like that. So,
well, what about you, John?
Me?
Yeah.
The first beer I ever brewed?
Yeah.
It was an IPA. And it wasn't as hoppy. It wasn't as hoppy as it should have been or could have been. It did have a little bit of a hop flavor, but it certainly was a lot more malty. It was like, okay, I made an English IPA. How's that?
That would be
I don't think that was the recipe for it, but that's what it came out to be. So. But it was drinkable. It wasn't a drain pour.
I just remember that we did it in like late August, and then basically it was ready right around the beginning of football season. And all I remember is, it was a partial mash kit, and it was probably not the greatest Irish Red I've ever had, but at that time it was the greatest Irish Red I ever had.
Of course, because you made
it. I sat down, I watched football, and I was like, I made this. It's like that was the greatest thing in the world at that point. So.
And did the Giants win or lose that day?
I don't know. That was probably.
They may have been good back then.
That was back when they actually won some football games.
That was back when they used to win. I got you.
Yeah.
At
least I was far enough away that was still when they won football games. So.
Right.
My first was actually a chocolate stout.
Chocolate stout. There you go.
So I'd gotten a kit to make a stout and then got some loose chocolate malt. And because I didn't have a mill, I put it in the big Ziploc bag and took the roller. Mm-hmm. First smacked the hell out of it, then rolled the rolling pin over it quite a few times. Right. Threw that into a cheesecloth. That went into the brew kettle. Of course, I knew nothing about timing back then, but surprisingly, it came out not only drinkable, but it actually developed a decent head on it.
Nice.
So it means my sanitation measures were good.
There you go. That's always a good thing.
That's half of the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
That's more than half of the game, actually. Yeah, it's crazy. Really quick, I want to jump back to Tim, but I just want to throw this up. We got a bunch of people that said James Harris said happy anniversary, and then he also said was just at Wet Ticket a couple weeks ago. Really good brews. So there you go for Tim.
Thank you, James.
All right.
Next time you're in, look for me and say hello, please.
Right. Absolutely. Thanks, Jim. And Tom Mulvihill, the beer whisperer, he wasn't able to get in a comment under the wire earlier, so we apologize to him.
He's in a different time zone.
Because he's in a different time zone. He's in Missouri. So he did He did just write in his.
He could be in New
quote.
Jersey with us. He'd be in a different time zone.
There you go. So, is this happy anniversary to my favorite beer guys, even if they are from New Jersey? This show is Beer Whisperer approved. There you go.
That's an important seal of approval right there.
Thank you very much, Tom. And Brian Boak again said happy anniversary. So
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Still love that he's got the Monster Mashup as his logo.
Absolutely. All right, back to Tim. When did you decide that this is what you wanted to get into doing? You were like, got to do this. Got to open this place.
Well, yeah. So obviously, you're making a lot of beer. You have a lot of friends drinking a lot of beer, exactly. And where I was living at the time, everybody was 27 to 33 years old. And when the women would have a pampered chef party, I hope this doesn't come off as sexist, but that's what would happen. They'd have like some type of party.
I've been to them.
You would make a batch of beer and then drink the next one.
Right.
And people seem to enjoy it. And so not only did I enjoy drinking the beer, I enjoy doing what we're doing now,
right.
Talking about beer, explaining the whole, even though I didn't know that much at the time, explaining the process. And everybody was just, I come from a background and I've always loved my jobs. I, worked in financial services and always worked with people. It was great. But seeing the excitement, all these people just talking and asking questions about beer
sure.
and drinking beer and the camaraderie of it, it was just, it was a great thing. And then finally had a few friends who said, this is good stuff. You should really look into it. And these were, friends I trusted because, you're giving people free beer. Who the hell knows what they're telling you?
Right, exactly.
It was great too. It was great. And then just, career-wise, it just kind of worked out. My last position at AIG was kind of putting a little unit, putting it out of business, for lack of a better term. So there was, it was kind of melancholy that all happened. But then the beer and the brewing, kind of opened up doors. So
nice.
I couldn't be more happy, to be where I am right now.
So when was it that what year was it when you finally decided?
So Wet Ticket opened in November of 2016. Mm-hmm. So we were honestly planning this probably from early 2013.
Oh wow.
At least. And so, it took a long time to find a spot. Everybody knows the deal. You got to find the town that wants you, the building that's right. And, sure. And then, of course, I'm not going to go over. Everybody knows the construction delays of building a brewery. It's going to take 12 months. Forget it. It's not going to take 12 months. It's going to take longer.
Well, hopefully that is a sliding, fluctuating problem, but that remains to be seen. Anyway, so it did take a long time. So it took you from the get-go till opening up about 3 years.
That's at least 3 years, yes.
Wow, all right, that's great. What? Why? All right, we know, but if anybody out there that just happens to not know, why Wet Ticket?
Well, first, we're trying to find a name for a brewery. It's like trying to find any beer name. I mean, if I'm in the tasting room, I would say on any given day, 3 people, here's a great beer name. Have you looked at it? Has it been taken? So it was, we looked for a name. Do you think of a good brewery name? It's taken. And my sister-in-law came up with it, said, how about Wet Ticket? Told the story behind it. And we were like, that's it. That's going to be the name.
Nice. That's perfect. So why don't you tell the story behind it?
So the story behind Wet Ticket is right around the time of Prohibition, you still had a political party, you still had your Republicans, Democrats, but our poor slobs who wanted to drink beer wanted to know what your position was on Prohibition. So everybody had to declare themselves where they were on the wet ticket or the dry ticket. So thankfully for the wet guys, we're here now.
Exactly.
Talking about beer on your 1 year anniversary.
Yep. If not for,
Otherwise, this would be a much more underground podcast.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Much more. Yeah.
it might be
And-
cooler that way.
We'd all be wearing masks and have
Voice,
No, but just-
voice
just have it
changers.
fuzzy, just like
Yeah.
blurred out and
Blurred out our faces.
of course.
Taking healing beforehand. Okay, so I want to drink this beer.
So I was thinking. But anyway, that's great. That's cool that you came up with that. Yeah, it's a chore to come up with a name, that's for sure. And even more so with beer names, because you got to come up with one brewery name once, right? Beer names, that's got to be a fluid thing. So you're
No pun intended, right?
No, yeah, exactly. See where I went there?
Hmm.
Exactly. Anyway, so you have any partners? Is it how did you come about to get them?
When we were putting the brewery together, my late brother John was involved, and unfortunately, he passed away. Took some of the wind out of the whole sails of doing, putting together a project like this with, someone's your brother you love and you've been around. So
Sure.
After recovering, from that, I have a common friend who actually had another friend who was looking to invest in a brewery. And so we first had the conversation with the common friend out on a golf course the next week.
Which is always a great place to have a conversation.
Yeah, and trust me, there was a lot of beer drank that day out on the golf
Which is always a great place to drink a lot of beer,
Yeah.
too. So.
So how many people play golf just to play golf?
Yeah,
I play golf to drink beer and smoke cigars.
I'm
That's what I
with
drink.
you, Dave. To me, it's I do enjoy the game. I enjoy the camaraderie, the beer drinking, and everything else that gets done along the way.
If I actually worked on my golf game a little bit more, I'd be much better than I am. So,
Not saying a lot, is it?
no, it's really not.
I
So.
play once a week, and I think I'm just hopeless. So.
Yeah, we're all hopeless.
Right. But
I'm probably the worst.
if there's a golf cart with good beer and a cooler and and for me a cigar sitting there, and I know Matt'll have one, but yeah, it's that's the day for me. That's what it's about. It's about relaxing, enjoying it, the social activity and everything else. And then a couple holes you play good, and you're happy.
And not being at work is a
And,
big
well,
thing.
Not
That's
being
another
at
thing,
work.
too.
There you go.
That's another
There
thing,
you go.
absolutely. So.
So, but anyway, my partner's name is Al Pavolsky, and he's actually, he's now has become, a brother, a friend,
Sure.
and a big part of the Wet Ticket family.
Absolutely.
And it's great to have somebody that you love and trust
Mm-hmm.
as much as I do Al.
Gotcha. That's great. That's definitely a good plus there. So what do you So talk about some of your beers. Let's talk about some of your beers. What are your let's talk about your flagships. What do you got? What do you got on the tap for your core beers?
Well, I would say the flagships are the couple of New England IPAs. We do a few of them. One of them is called Fully Juiced.
Okay.
And the name really describes it all. It's Idaho 7, Mosaic, and Citra. I would say probably 2/3 of the hop are dry hops.
Okay.
And I like it. It's an 8.5 beer.
Oh,
And
So it's sessionable.
yeah, sessionable.
depends upon the length of your session.
Yeah, if your golf game's going real bad, you have a couple of those. It'll get real bad.
Oh yeah, you need swing juice.
You're like, that one looks straight. And you're like, no, you're standing crooked.
Wait a second, swing juice. There's a name for a beer right there.
Swing juice, yeah.
So the Fully Juice is one of our biggest sellers. Actually, pretty cool too. I came up with a few concepts for the name and bounced them off my stepson's fiance, who's a graphic designer, and they're obviously crappy ideas because she came about 3 days later with a hand crushing some hops with kind of the juice coming out of the side.
Sure.
And we're like, well, thank God, Danielle, you didn't listen to me, because that's a cool label right there.
Nice, yeah, absolutely, sure.
The other one is Trolley Hopper. And that one is just never really. We have something we call our test tickets. We do a 10-gallon batch.
Yep.
Depending how busy you are, we try to get them done every week. It does, probably now happening once a month, but that's how that beer started. And generally, the rule of thumb for me, you start getting over 3 or 4 hops, and everything just starts getting muddled, and it's it can be a disaster. So whatever we did this time, we found there is generally 7 hops. It's primarily Vic Secret. There's Columbus. There's Simcoe. There's Amarillo. If we have some Galaxy sitting around, we'll do that. But for the most part, the beer has stayed, pretty true to its nature, and it just works. People love it.
Nice, very good. And those are your only flagships?
No,
those are the IPAs from the.
Yeah, on the IPA side, the first flagship, one of the first beers we came out with. I think we were open a couple of weeks. We had to have something a little easy drinking, so
sure.
We're going to do a Kolsch. Mm-hmm. But then decided, literally, standing up on the brew deck while everybody does a 5% Kolsch. Let's make ours 6.5. Okay, so we threw a couple extra bags, malt in, and we had a 6.5 Kolsch, which we had probably for about 8 months. Oh, wow. We were selling that for $5 a pint in the tasting room, and
6.5 Kolsch for $5 a pint.
There was a lot of people walking out there on wobbly legs. So
quite happy.
Before we came to our senses and put it in cans, we took it down. I think it's 5.5 now.
Gotcha.
And that is sold very, very well for us.
Nice.
And then our seasonals do very well. And both our seasonals, my wife is scurrying around here in the background, but it's true. She is the lady behind both of them. We have a watermelon wheat that we do in the summertime that was really
familiar with that one.
Yes.
We had, I literally came home. There was some an summer American wheat that I usually brew. Was sitting downstairs in the basement. Along in the refrigerator, we had got back from vacation. After that was done fermenting, there was a watermelon. Every time you buy a watermelon, you really cut it open on the day you're going to use it.
Never.
Right?
No.
You forget about it. You're drinking too much beer, and you never get to the watermelon. Well, the same thing happened. Opened up the fridge, saw the watermelon, saw the beer, sliced it up, mashed it up with a potato masher, threw it in, and then a few weeks later, we were at the I believe it was one of the first Rutgers games of the season. We brought that keg, and it got smashed. I mean, it was gone in a half hour from us. Everybody stopping by, and so when we opened up, my wife gets to be now like May and June. My wife's now like, when are you going to make the watermelon? I'm like, what do you mean? When am I going to make the watermelon? He goes, when are you going to make it? I'm like, do you realize that would be like 80 watermelons? And we're not making that beer. Well, the old saying.
Of course. So you made the beer.
A happy wife is a happy life.
Yeah, listen to your wife, because that's exactly what we did.
2 words to any successful marriage.
Yes, dear.
Yeah. So now, every few weeks in the summertime, I'm not probably the most popular guy at the brewery with the folks who work there. We're going into Costco and picking up 2 pallets of watermelon, and it's turned into kind of a phenomenon for me. I like the beer too. It's great. Sure. We mash it really low. It gets really dry, so it's nice and crisp.
Sure.
I see the attraction, but I'm just still amazed with how successful it's been.
That's great.
Well, for anyone who hasn't had this beer,
I was about to say something.
Yeah, it's basically. Watermelon's a tough ingredient too.
Right.
But it's a tough ingredient, and I feel like too many watermelon beers really go into that weird, like, it tastes like watermelon gum, and it's like gross.
Juicy fruit.
Exactly.
No, was it?
They just go over.
What was the name of it?
Bubblicious.
I have to say
Yeah, that's it.
Tim's watermelon beer is probably my favorite watermelon beer.
It is. I have to say, it's definitely.
It has a very natural watermelon flavor, and it just works really well with the beer.
There was one. It was one of my 2 favorites of any of the watermelon beers out there. The other one being from Boston Beer Works, which has closed, and they're no longer. So of any of the watermelon beers that I could still get, it would be Tim's. So.
You can put on the championship belt now for best.
There you go.
There you go.
Another one of the beers that I've had there. You must really know how to work with fruit. The blood orange Belgian.
Yes.
That was a great beer.
Yeah. So at some point we'll bring it back. Trust me, I hear it. I hear it all the time. Where is the blood orange? And I don't have a good answer. I'm not sure. Other than
I'll have to go look for it. Give me a minute.
Lines and we're trying to make it all work, and
Absolutely.
Blood orange sells. People love blood orange.
Absolutely.
Oh, God, yeah.
You put blood orange, yeah.
Anything, and people.
It's not a blood orange pastry stout. I'm not going to do that. No.
Did I?
No,
it wasn't.
Here's one. James Harris actually has said the pineapple hopper was really good. He said so.
Thank you, James. That one will be back. That one just had we kind of make that when we can, and it's probably just because it's a pain in the ass to make.
Sure.
It's just any of these fruit beers are kind of a pain in the ass.
Oh, sure, yeah, you gotta.
But you do them well, Tim.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Dave Campanelle, by the way, said happy anniversary. So
thanks,
you, Dave.
Dave.
Thanks, Dave. But in any event, that's great. So let's talk about some of your your one-offs you do, your specialty beers that you put out there. I'm pretty sure that you just released one last Friday. Did you not?
We do. That we just released, and I'm really happy the way it came out. It's a coconut porter.
Did you just order one?
You just got my attention.
I ordered one.
You just ordered one.
Here, sir.
There it is.
I'm sure that's the way it always is.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's a simple beer. It's nothing really that complicated, and really for this one, I would say, because so many times when you do anything, whether it's with nuts or fruit, you've always got the people. It's too much or it's too little. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, you never.
I had to laugh the other day, and I really do. Look at Untappd, that means a lot to me. I mean, this is what people are. Whether they like your beer or don't like your beer, I pay attention to it.
Right.
But it does crack me up sometimes because.
Sure.
I just like. I hate watermelon.
Don't drink the beer.
I hate.
Wheat, man, don't give it a 3-0. I mean. So anyway, the one the other day was, the guy said, it tastes like licking a watermelon. What?
Okay.
So you're always kind of a fine line.
As long as he wasn't referring to a stout you brewed, then you're fine.
Yeah.
Right.
As long as he's not licking watermelon right there in the grocery store.
Right. Well, it tastes like licking watermelon. Well, what are you doing? I'm licking a watermelon. All right. Well. So anyway,
but it is kind of a fine line because you hear it all the time. It had too much, it had too little,
right.
And so on this time, I was like, you know what? I usually hear it on the too little side. Right. We're gonna go deep with the
Sure.
flaked coconut and toasted coconut, and people like it. I like it. I think it's going to be a good kind of after dinner drink. I don't think it's too sweet at all. And certainly the early reviews we've got have been very positive.
Yeah, I mean, it's most of the time when you're dealing with adjuncts, let's just sledgehammer them over the head with one or two of them.
Right.
And especially if you do two of them, because then it's like hit them with this and just sledgehammer them. Then they're like, ooh, I get both notes out of that. Yes, your palate is so sophisticated that I sledgehammered the shit out of your palate.
Yeah.
Well, this time I wasn't aiming to total line. I wanted to pull out the sledgehammer. So
there you
nice.
go. That works. I definitely got to get up to have some of that.
These two elements are in perfect harmony.
Exactly. Chuck Aaron just wrote in, happy anniversary, guys. Tim, love what you're doing. That's from Chuck Aaron from Jersey Go Brewing.
Hey,
Nice.
Thank you very much, Chuck. Chuck is someone, if I have some question, there's something going on, I think somebody has a similar experience, Chuck is someone who I will always pick up the phone and call. Mm-hmm. And nice to have people, resources like that, friends like that. And it's kind of what's really cool about the whole industry.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You want to bounce something off somebody, it's great to have.
Absolutely.
What's the word, Johnny?
Co-opetition.
There it is.
It's not competition, it's co-opetition. So, and the last one we put up, slide we put up, that's from Rick Reed from Cricket Hill. He said it best. He says, he doesn't, if you're gonna have 6 beers, have 6 different beers and get a little bit from everybody. It's about the industry. It's not just about one thing. So it's about everybody. It's a one big family at that point. So
One big dysfunctional drunken family.
Absolutely. You said it totally correct. Nail on the head. Hit it.
But love every one of them.
Maybe that's why I fit in. I came from a family of 6.
There you go.
There you go.
That's perfect.
Actually, 8.
Well, you forgot 2 of your siblings?
No, my parents. I was only talking about the kids.
Oh yeah, that guy and the woman over there. Yeah, forget it.
Oh, mom and dad, them.
Yeah.
But that's funny. That's funny. All right. Well, before we do anything else, Tim, I'm pretty sure you're opening that porter. Is that what you're doing right now? That's I had a feeling that's why the hand was like that.
Are we going to beer number 2?
I think we should go to beer number 2. Yeah. So
I gotta come over here and grab my beer number 2.
Why don't you go grab your beer number 2?
I'm trying not to get my microphone into the mustard here.
You know what? Are you grabbing a microphone beer?
No. What did I do with it? What did I do?
I don't know. Matt, while he's looking for his beer, Matt, what are you drinking?
So I am drinking a deduction from Taxman Brewing, which is a Belgian-style double.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, and I've had a few of their beers. They've all been pretty good, so I have high hopes for this. Though I'm
That's awesome.
pretty picky with my doubles.
You? No, not at all.
You picky with Belgians?
That's not that can't be.
That's pretty solid, actually.
So, and Tim, you're drinking your coconut porter.
I just cracked open a coconut porter.
God, I wish I could even smell it. Wish I could smell it.
Well,
Samurai, what are you drinking?
big coconut nose.
Ondex.
Ondex. Very nice.
Gotta go with the hell.
Gotta go with hell. Gotta drink some hell.
Drinking some hell.
Little Helles Lager from Ondex. Ondex is a great German.
It's got a cluster F.
Klosterbrauer.
Cluster Barrier. Yeah. I am only because we had it in the fridge, and like I said, when we did our Oktoberfest kind of thing, I like this beer. It's a brown ale, so it's not German. It's English, but it's not from England by any means. It's actually from Abita. It's their pecan ale.
That's a good beer.
It's tasty, and I love what it says. If you see it right there, it says "Go Nuts." GEAUX. Go Nuts.
These nuts?
These nuts.
Those nuts. Okay.
These bleeds. It means take these bleeds. Anyway, so let me take the cursory picture here. 1 second. Perfect.
Compulsory. We've been over this. We've been over this.
Compulsory, cursory, the friggin' picture.
Just take the damn picture.
Cheers, guys.
Prost.
Prost.
Oh.
Oh, you caught Matt sleeping.
Cheers. And it was texting.
No, I was taking my picture as well, so.
Ah.
There you go. Oh, it's good. It's good brown ale.
You know, I'm picky about my pictures, too.
So I do have. I've got a question, John.
What's that?
Usually when Matt's on the show, there's a reason for it.
Usually when Matt's on the show, there's a reason for it. Yep.
Why is he on the show today?
Why is he on the show today? I don't know. Why is he on the show today?
It can't be that I made 2 beers with Tim, so.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. There had to be a reason.
I knew there had to be a reason. And the funny thing is, I really did not know the reason Matt was on the show, but I assumed Matt must have brewed something with Tim.
So why don't we talk about those beers?
Well, so I was lucky enough to. I was the president of a Wales Homebrew Club for a couple of years, and I was a fairly active member. And basically, we did a couple of different projects with Tim. He talked a little bit more about his test ticket batches. So I would order like about approximately 10-gallon batches. So these are small batches that he can do on a small system, and he can kind of do things a little bit out of the box and a little bit crazier, and just quote unquote dumb things that can turn out awesome.
Yep.
So we approached him and asked him if we could brew a beer at one of the test ticket batches with him, and I made a recipe. It was actually a Pater's beer. Surprise! It was a Belgian beer. It was a version of my Pater's beer, and we actually dry hopped it with a Moteca. Mm-hmm. So it was interesting because you had the really nice ester profile, and then a little bit of kind of like the lime and citrus notes in the end that worked with the
nice
profile. And that beer lasted about 24 hours, I believe. You replaced Tim, is that right? I remember I came in and I got like the last pint of it.
I was going to say the two of you drank most of it.
I was like, and that kicked. And I was like, well, at least I got here. But that beer came out really great. And we thank Tim for letting us brew that. And then a couple years later, there's basically a beer dinner that's associated with one of the biggest homebrew contests in New Jersey, which is the Motown Mash. Sure. So the Morristown Area Society of Homebrewers, aka MASH, hosts a homebrew contest. And then they have a chef named Chris Mazey, who he worked at a couple restaurants right around the green in Morristown for a while, and now he runs Suburban Bar and Kitchen. So usually they have 6 courses. They have 6 different homebrew clubs collaborate with a brewery and come up with a beer. Wales was lucky enough to participate in that, I don't know, about 5 years. Right. Or so. But the one year I came to Tim with a really kind of crazy idea. I had read this kind of obscure reference to a Middle Eastern tart that had honey and pears and cardamom in it. And I was like, I would like to make this into a beer. And, you know, one of the things with it being a beer dinner was that the chef and MASH kind of said, hey, go crazy and do something gastronomic in a beer. So we did. We tried to make this light but fairly, it actually turned out to be fairly highly alcoholic. Like it was about 7.5, I believe. 7.5, almost 8. And we aged it on pear and cardamom and honey. And it's interesting because it's the most Belgian, non-Belgian beer I've ever made.
Most Belgian,
it had a lot of nuance and a lot of flavor, and it it didn't have the crazy esters, but it drank a bit like a Belgian because it. So
you didn't ferment it with Belgian yeast?
No, I think we just fermented it straight with an American yeast. But
so even when you don't go out to make a Belgian,
you make a Belgian.
Well, I mean, it just because of the way
it's fermented a little warmer.
Yeah,
there you go.
But we brought that to the beer dinner, and the chef loved it. We carved it a little high. We wanted it to be very light and effervescent, and even though it was based off of probably what was considered really a dessert, I guess, with the tart, he actually paired it with it was almost like a lamb and like couscous kind of interesting.
Yeah. So he riffed off the Turkish.
Yeah, like Middle Eastern. It had very lots of spices and stuff, and it actually worked really, really well. It was a really cool beer, and thanked him for saying yes to that dumb idea. But
like everything else we're talking about, most of all, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, it was
there to brew it. That dinner was a special night. Mm-hmm. All the pairings were perfectly done. It's just a well done event.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, Chris can cook. We all know, we've all had his cooking.
Sure.
If you haven't had his cooking, like Matt said, Suburban Kitchen out Route 10 out in Randolph. Huge beer list.
Absolutely.
And just amazing food.
And speaking of, I just want to take a shameless plug minute here. Speaking of a tremendous beer list, great food, and beer dinners.
I've you got to be talking about Cloverleaf.
I got to be talking about Cloverleaf 2 weeks from tonight. 2 weeks from tonight. Right now.
So looking forward to this.
Yes, we will. It is the Carton Brewing beer dinner at the Cloverleaf Tavern in Caldwell, New Jersey, and it is hosted by Cloverleaf, Carton Brewing, and
the Lager Room guys.
Absolutely. So we will be there, and the best part of it, you get there. I'll throw the menu up really quick. You could take a second. If you're rewatching the video, pause it and take a look at it. But the best thing to do is just go to our Facebook page, look at the events, and
because if you're listening to the audio podcast, you can't read this.
You can't read this if you're looking at. I was just going to say, if you're looking at the audio podcast.
Anyway.
If you're in the audio podcast, go to our Facebook page. If you're watching this on the Facebook page, you're already on our Facebook page. Just go to the events section, and you could read the whole menu better. But for everything on there, it's a 5-course dinner paired with carton beers. You get there at 6:00. You get a welcome beer, and you're going to sit there. We're going to start the podcast. We're going to do the podcast live from the Cloverleaf, starting at 6:15 that night, 2 weeks from tonight. And once the podcast is done, obviously you'll be in attendance for the show as well. But once the podcast is done, the beer dinner starts right away, and and on from there. So it's going to be a really cool night. So,
And not only do you get to meet us two knuckleheads, you'll get to meet Potenski. You're going to be there, correct?
Matt will be there.
Our other producer will be there.
Brian will be there.
Brian will be there. And a couple of the other clowns we've had on the show.
Yes.
I say with love and respect.
With love and respect, yes.
Including the one who will never be named.
Augie will be there, obviously, because it is a card and beer dinner. I'm pretty sure Chuck Aaron is going to be there, so it's going to be a good night.
Ryan Dorchick will be there.
Ryan Dorchick, of course, will be there because it's the Cloverleaf.
You can pre-buy your tickets for autographs.
Absolutely.
That
was for Ryan or for Augie?
Oh, for us.
Oh, for us. Oh, yeah. Nobody wants our autograph. Maybe Matt's, but not us. So, anyway.
Matt is a rock star.
Anyway. All right, Tim, any upcoming events going on at the brewery?
We've got, we've kind of dipped our toe into the music world, and it's been a real a fun experience.
Sure.
Instead of kind of bringing in the cover bands, we've really just brought in some all original acts.
Oh, nice.
And I have to tell you the quality of the people that have played there has just been amazing. There's a gentleman who has a frame shop in town, and he kind of helps organize a lot of the live music, and he's actually the leader of a band called the Rusty Monks. So
nice.
From my lips to your ears, if you haven't heard the name of the band, the Rusty Monks, and haven't seen them in our beer garden, I mean, I would highly recommend it. If you like Tedeschi Trucks, the Allman Brothers, Chicago.
Oh, Tedeschi, nice.
Tedeschi Trucks, the Allman Brothers in Chicago?
Yeah, got to be there.
Anywhere from 10 to 13 people, with usually at least 3 people in the horn section, a Congo player.
You've sold me already.
I mean, I gotta jump in.
And it's all songs that this gentleman has written. So he helped me curate a lot of the original music. And it's been a great thing, I think, for us. I think it's been a great thing for the town.
Sure.
And, I love beer, music, and my wife. So,
of course.
Not
necessarily in that order.
I think you need to make
that order. She's right there, isn't she?
Yeah, she's right.
I think you need to make a beer called Rusty Monks, though.
I was going to say, Rusty Monks is an awesome name.
Yeah, that's a great name. Better be Belgian.
Trust me, I've looked.
Somebody needs to make it.
It's taken. The name is taken.
Is it? Of course it is.
I think we may just use it anyway.
Yeah, but is it taken by like a brew pub in Arizona, or is it taken by Sierra Nevada? So,
yeah, no.
Well, you can always name it Not So Rusty Monks.
There
you go. Let's see.
That's
Leroy Breweries.
When is that going to be?
So I think the next event is it's October 3rd. It's a Saturday, and then the next one might be the 17th.
Gotcha. October 3rd is this coming Sunday.
Yep.
Yeah, so, that's not. It might be the 9th, maybe. I don't have the dates.
9th works. 9th is a Saturday.
We had just about every other week. We've had live music in the back. Like I said, all live. Last weekend we actually had 4 bands in the back. One of the things that has been great for us is being a part of a community there in Rahway.
Oh, sure.
So, of course, when you're opening a brewery, do you want to have the best facilities with the best floors, the best loading dock, the best access,
sure,
or do you want to be a part of the community? And as it turned out, when we put this all together, we kind of got a little of everything there in Rahway.
That's awesome.
And so being a part of that community, having Nick there from the Rusty Monks help us curate the music, we got a loading dock. We got 3,600 square feet. We've got, potential room to expand. We couldn't be happier. We couldn't be happier there.
Nice.
Now for the couple people who haven't been there, you have like an outdoor area in the back. You had like a parking lot. So you turn that into basically outdoor seating, correct?
We do. So, for all the things that the New Jersey ABC and the governor, you can, say you like it, you don't like it. What he's done for the breweries, or the New Jersey ABC has done for the breweries to allow this what's called an extension of premises permit.
Sure.
So now that we can use the outdoor space, so we can kind of eliminate some of the, naturally the fears people have of being inside, to have this outdoor seating. And I think it goes through November of 2022, has been a big plus for our business.
Sure.
You know,
Absolutely.
and if you're in the hospitality business and you don't have outdoor space, it's a negative. People want. I have groups. People come in. We got to be outside.
Right.
It's been a great thing for us. I mean, listen, if I'm out day drinking, I want to be outside on a nice day.
Absolutely. You don't be cooped up inside.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, that's interesting because we just recently, the New Jersey created the brewery trails. Were you following that?
Mm-hmm.
That is an interesting thing where I guess it's part of the tourism board came out that they're putting together, I guess, advice to tourists of what to do when you come to New Jersey. And there's not only they've paired restaurants with, points of interest and breweries, which I think are the points of interest. When I travel, the first thing I do is I pin all the breweries on my map first, and then figure out what's in the area, and then also figure out which one I'm probably going to drink the most at, and that's where I stay, is right near there. So that's how I do my travels. But not everyone does it that way. So New Jersey, knowing this, has kind of thrown a bone to the breweries in the state, recognizing that it is one of the fastest growing industries in New Jersey.
Sure.
Absolutely. And so they're doing this now, and just pairing a whole bunch of things together, which is awesome because, as we know, that also kind of makes the restaurant lobby happy too, because they're thrown in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they've been one of the biggest opponents to any advances in the brewery industry in New Jersey. Just a bit thorn in the side. So, it's good to see that everyone wins from this action by the New Jersey government.
Exactly.
One of the good things they've done in a while.
This is true. Absolutely. Any before we get to the top three, though, any future plans? Anything that's got concrete already? We're going to be doing this next year. We're going to be doing this in 2023, so forth and so on.
Well, obviously we're looking to get more space, and so those discussions are ongoing. And as part of that, we had a nice tent that was up for maybe it might have made it a couple months. It was nice until the weather got it, and it took down our tent.
Was it Ida? Did Ida take it down?
We would no, it was even before that.
Before that?
Yeah. It was before that, but.
Any issues with Ida? Sorry to cut you off.
Did. Yeah, Rahway,
Sure,
Rahway
that's why.
Rahway in general had a lot of issues. And like I said, as being a part of this community, there was a group that came together called Ida Cares, in terms of collecting stuff for folks who were impacted. Just to see, the diverse community in Rahway, you see everybody, every stripe, every economic, and everybody gets along.
Right.
I tell you, it warms my heart to go there every day on a Friday night and see the crowd that comes into that brewery, and how everybody gets along. I mean, it really just is a wonderful thing. And then to see how everybody responded to help their neighbors. Personally, us, we had some barrels floating around, and some, our beer garden tables were floating around a little bit. The water came to within 10 feet of our back door. When I first showed up, I came around the brewery. I couldn't get to the brewery. I had to, park around the side of the building because it was flooded all around it.
But it never got in. It didn't come in the door.
Didn't get in. We were lucky. We got a couple inches in the basement. We were able, to get out with the shop vacs, in certain spots, the low spots. So it really wasn't that bad. But a lot of people, right in Rahway and all the surrounding communities, took a big hit from that.
Huge, yeah. My family in Cranford, luckily their house is raised, and they didn't get any water in their basement. I think they had like a little bit of puddling coming in, but the river was in the street.
Yeah.
And they were looking out. They were standing on their front porch and looking at a river, down in the street and up the sidewalk and a little bit up their front lawn. It was crazy.
Glass, but we had a legit 2 feet of water inside the building in Melavino.
And I was just going to say Melavino, sure.
Yeah, and
if anyone has ever been,
up there.
It's like way up, up on a platform from where the street level is.
Yeah, it's higher, a lot higher.
The big steel dumpster at the end was floating over our picnic tables. We never lost power, so the security footage is bonkers. But the giant huge steel dumpster was just floating back and forth over our picnic tables. And
Did you guys take that opportunity to push it out of the way so we got more parking?
So
Yes, and from what I saw, I wish could have been there, but for some reason I was thinking it was a Saturday. Everyone's going to be there, but it was a Friday. I had to go into work,
You didn't
and
want
no, I did want to get there and help out.
was
But
the best.
then again, I had water in my basement as well. Unfortunately, I live in the basement,
right.
so I've just this weekend finished a move out of there, and now I'm up on the 6th floor.
So you're good. If you
yeah,
get water in there, something's dreadfully wrong.
Screwed.
So,
Yeah, because it's Union City, which is on top of the Palisades.
which is even higher. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you're looking at a whole lot. That's tsunami level right there.
Exactly. So Tim, back to what you were saying. So next year,
So one of the things, we're looking with this, everybody looking to be outside is a more permanent structure and overhang coming out the top of the brewery or off the back of the brewery is what we'd like to get done.
right?
So we'll see.
Very nice. Very nice.
Let me know when you want to schedule another batch of stupid pear cardamom beer. So
Stupid. Is that the name of the beer? Stupid pear cardamom beer.
There you go. That one's probably not taken.
I'm sure that one's not taken. Yeah.
I remember making that beer and asking Matt. I'm like, Matt, do you know what the dose? I've never brewed with cardamom. You do know what the dosage? He goes, no. Here, let's just chew it. Have you ever chewed a cardamom pod?
Yes.
Oh, don't do that.
No,
Yes, I have.
don't do that.
No, it's not pleasant. Not at all.
He's like, I don't, but that's the fun of it.
Well, I think we got it. That was the most amazing.
Yeah.
We got the cardamom, I think, spot on because it's interesting. It's very similar to ginger in the way you perceive it, but then you did get the honey and you did get the pear too in that beer, and it was pretty crazy.
Wait a second, you hit them with a sledgehammer and they got all three elements?
Yeah. This was that's the problem. This was the opposite. This was I'm trying to hit them with a little one of those little you've seen the Shawshank Redemption. Trying to hit them with one of those little rock hammers.
The little rock hammer. Yeah.
Because I know the cardamom will just blow everything else out.
Yep.
Your palate
it was like licking.
You don't need a whole hell of a lot of cardamom, that's for sure.
Yeah. But I thought that was I mean, for my guesstimates, that thing was pretty balanced. I was pretty impressed. So it turned out. I enjoyed that beer a lot. So
good. That's awesome. It sounds good. Yeah, stupid pear cardamom beer. That's that's the new name of it. That's perfect.
Yeah.
So anyway,
well, I mean, at least I didn't go to Tim with mushrooms. So one of the other years I did a mushroom beer for that dinner, and I just looked at Charlie, and luckily I was doing it with Cypress, and Charlie was just like, "Do whatever the hell you want." I'm like,
just do it. Yeah.
But Chris
just clean up after yourself.
Chris Maisie loved that mushroom beer, though. To be fair, so
there you go. Yeah. It's always good. All right, why don't we do our top threes?
All right.
Shock you? I mean, what was that? What was that reaction?
I think I finished mine.
So basically, go over what the top threes are again.
So let's bring that up. Okay, so our top three list is a little lengthy in the title, so a little long in the tooth, if you will. Mm-hmm. So our top three list tonight is top three favorite non-Oktoberfest German-style beers that we enjoy in fall. So there you go.
And now there's a caveat here in the fact that some of these we'll enjoy any season.
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't. It's not. Hold on, let me put it back up. It doesn't say that we only enjoy in fall.
Okay, no, I just want to make sure that was clear.
We enjoy in fall.
Sure
we drink them. We'll drink them all year long too, but we definitely enjoy them in the fall. So there we go. And this is technically our first show in the fall. Hence, we're doing this.
Technically,
yes. Well, not technically, it actually is. But last week was still summer. Summer didn't end until 3-something the day after our last show last week.
I don't know. You were walking around Manhattan yesterday. It was still summer.
Oh no! It's still summer. I think they call it.
It's local summer.
Down here, it's local summer. Yeah. So there's still plenty of people on the beach today down here. So anyway, so once again, top three favorite non-Oktoberfest German-style beers that we enjoy in fall. Why don't we have our guest of honor, Mr. Tim Pewitt, go first?
Okay. So I'm
throw him right to the wolves.
And this is totally has not been planned because I have a prop. The prop has been sitting there.
I was wondering why you took your hat off.
3 years. I think we got this prop. As my wife and I don't know, we were out at a flea market or garage sale somewhere. But
that works.
It's sitting right up here. So we're going to do the top three German beers.
Mm-hmm.
Please have pigtails. Please have pigtails. Please have pigtails. Ah.
Sorry to disappoint. So this was,
There you go.
So I think we paid $1.50 for this thing.
Nice, perfect.
That's a bargain at 10 times the price.
Absolutely,
Look
I'd
at
have paid more than that for it. Absolutely.
That's pretty sharp.
Top
That's
three.
really sharp.
Number one, I love a nicely done hef. We do one, and I like to ferment that at about 65 degrees, not too warm. You get too much banana, and it comes out a lot of balance. So we ferment it on the cool side. I think it really helps with the balance.
Wait, I got to stop you for a second. What's too much banana?
What is too much banana? What does that even mean?
That's the guy who loves
Banana.
esters.
Yeah. Matt likes banana esters.
I like esters. Okay, sorry, continue.
So my number one is there's not that many beers to me. That are really truly yeast-driven styles. A good hef is a truly, you don't really want to hop it too much. You want to keep the hops out of the way.
Sure.
It's a nice yeast-driven style, and so that's my number one.
All right. Do you have an example of one of your favorite hefs? And it can be the one you brew. That's fine.
Obviously ours. I don't even know if I can pronounce it. The Weihenstephaner.
Weihenstephaner.
Oh my goodness! I have Jersey Johnny. Impressive.
He's part German.
I'm half German.
All right, say that again.
Weihenstephaner.
Weihenstephaner.
Weihenstephaner. Yeah.
All right, well, whatever you said. That's
Gesundheit.
That's one I
Gesundheit, yes.
A lot of, and we make one of course as well.
Very nice.
And they've been making beer for almost 1,000 years, so
Yeah.
you figured the recipe.
Another 14 years? They'll be making that beer for 1,000 years.
Yeah. You think they'd be dialed in by now?
Yeah.
Hopefully they are.
Close enough.
It's damn close. It's getting there. A little longer. There we go. All right. So that's your one. What's...
Are we gonna go around?
No, you can do your whole three, and then
I'm gonna. All right. Okay. Kolsch.
Okay.
I generally, like the lighter German style. So
Sure.
I like a nice clean Kolsch.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one that kind of inspired me the most was probably one from Schlafly.
Okay.
Johnny, am I
Schlafly's Kolsch is good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I want to cut in for what's that? Because I was in Colorado a few weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just amazing to me that I went to a whole lot of breweries, and minus one that specialized in other types of beer. They were all Czech lagers. Pretty much every brewery had a Kolsch.
Yeah.
And they were all really good. So.
Yeah, we said it too, and you and I were talking. Dave and I were just up in Portland, and then Jess and I had gone to Boston afterwards. I think we hit something like 21 breweries, and I think maybe one or two didn't have a Kolsch. Everybody else had a Kolsch.
I feel like people are really on the Kolsch bandwagon, and it's like that's a good place to be because the Kolsch is amazing.
And not for nothing, when you're talking fall, if you're going to ride steady during the football season, a football game, pounding down Kolsch's is not a bad idea.
Not a bad thing. Not at all.
Sure.
So, all right. And Tim, your number one or your other
three.
style?
German Pils. I mean, we've made a one Pilsner called Perfectly Played Pilsner, and just clean, crisp, Magnum hops to start the boil, and then some Hallertau, Mittelfrau, and at the end. Weyermann Pilsner malt. Maybe I think we put a half a bag of wheat in there just to kind of give it.
Did you say wheat or weed?
I was going to say the same thing. I'm pretty sure he said wheat. He didn't put half a bag of weed in his Pilsner. So
be a man.
It would be an interesting Pilsner.
One of our sayings is Wet Ticket Brewing, where nothing's prohibited. So
Nothing is prohibited. There you go. So maybe he did put weed in it. There you go.
Man, you were going to have a line out your door now, if you don't already.
That's great. Gotta love it. All right, so there you go. Hefeweizen, you got Weihenstephaner. Kolsch is obviously your Schlafly, and Pils, and you represented yourself with Wet Ticket, perfectly played.
Very nice.
All right.
Now, Mr. Potenski.
What are yours?
Diligently working on his list while we were talking.
So,
Oh,
The way I'm going to do this is I have three styles that have not been mentioned left yet. And then I have an example that is German. And then I have an example that is at least U.S. or even local.
he's been watching the show too long.
Yeah,
John. He knows how to get in
he's
more
right
than
in line with
three.
you and I, so it's
Yeah.
fine.
So the first style, which is kind of a little bit of a weird sub style, but it's a Stiegel Alt,
Sure.
which is kind of basically what it means is it's a strong alt beer. It's a Bock or what?
And alt means old.
Yeah, I mean, being that it's not really a Bock because it's an ale, not a lager, but it's an imperial alt beer.
It's an imperial alt beer.
It is. And like the to me, the classic example is I'm going to slaughter the first name, but it's Urish Doppelstieg.
Yes, it's
close.
Urish Doppelstieg.
Yeah, Urish, yeah.
And you might hear that one again in a little while, but keep
You
going.
might.
Okay. And then, so it's if anyone has had an alt beer, it's traditionally, from Dusseldorf area. You're basically taking an ale. This is an ale with a little bit of darker malt in it, and then brewing it a bit cold and aging it like you would a lager. So it has nice malty tones, but it's still really smooth. It's a little bit more impactful than a lager, but it's just got a lot of flavor in a really nice, easy drinkable package. And the Doppelstieg is a little. It just kind of brings that up and raises the ABV up a little.
Absolutely.
It goes to 11.
Yeah, it's like 7.
These go to 11.
Yeah. And if you wanted a local, or not really local, but at least an American version of it, the only beer I could really think of is Double Bag.
Double Bag's a good beer.
It is a good beer.
Montreal, yeah.
Which is it's called an alt beer, but it is over 7%, so it does drink more like Stiegel.
Yeah, it's a great label too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Valero would love that one.
And then the second type is a Doppelbock, which just means a double bock. So this means we're actually going to have a lager. And this is where I screw everything up because I'm going to say, my favorite one of all time is the Paulaner Salvatore, which is basically liquid bread. But the only problem with the fall part of this is that that this beer was literally made by the monks for Lent.
Yes. Yep. It is a spring beer.
That's why it was called liquid bread. This is what they would actually subsist on when they fasted during Lent. But that's where you get the liquid bread from. So Paulaner Salvatore is one of my favorite Doppelbocks. Again, nice rich malt. This is a decoction mash. You're boiling some of the wort. You're adding all these Maillard like caramel notes to the beer. It's delicious.
Sure. Oh yeah.
And then probably one of my favorite beers that I would still consider somewhat local, even though it's not New Jersey, it's actually Pennsylvania, is Troganator.
Yeah, I knew you were going there.
Great double.
I knew you were going there.
It's just fantastic. They do a bourbon barrel aged version of Troganator that's even more ridiculously good. But yeah, I mean, you have a lot of good bocks. There's still a couple really good bocks that I didn't mention that I figured some of the other guys would mention.
There's so many, yeah.
And then the last one, it's funny because I kind of did this basically in descending order of darkness. We're going to go with the Schwarzbier. And yeah.
Just keep going.
Yeah, Schwarzbier. And I mean, there's only one way you can go with Schwarzbier if you really want to be traditional, and that's basically Kostritzer. Kostritzer, of course, is the Cadillac of Schwarzbiers. It's the German Guinness. It is, again, you're talking about a black lager. So you have all that nice roastiness and then just a clean finish. And actually for Schwarzbier is really interesting because at least one of the breweries that I'm very close to is Alternate Endings, which is down in Matawan. They just released today a rye Schwarzbier called We've Gone to Plaid, which is A is a Spaceballs reference, which is
yes, it is.
B is I had it off of the tank like 2 weeks ago and it was phenomenal then, so I can only imagine it's going to be great when I get down there and have it soon. But yeah, Schwarzbier is one of my favorite styles, and that's for a black beer. It's nice because it's great. It has some roast to it. You can drink it in the fall when the weather's starting to turn. I like it all year round. I can drink that anytime.
I can drink it all year round too. Yeah.
Schwarzbier is just amazing. But those are mine. So.
All right, Mr. Samurai.
Well, Mr. Potenski did take one of my beers and pretty much, spoke it up exactly the way I would have. Kostritzer. Kostritzer. Anybody who hasn't had a Schwarzbier, I will give them a Kostritzer first. Drink this. And like you said, it's the Guinness of Germany, because to me, maybe not so much with the younger generations. With our generation, every stout was judged against Guinness.
Sure.
Even though now we know there's a whole bunch of different varieties in there. That was the case at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But now, even now, with Schwarzbiers, every Schwarzbier you drink is going to be judged against Kostritzer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's a fantastic beer. I love the roastiness of it. That subtle sweetness, chocolate sweetness to it.
Yep.
And it's just such a beautiful beer. I'm going to go with two Doppels.
Two Doppels.
Yes, one's a wheat Doppel. And you can say it with me. Schneider Weiss's Aventinus. Yes. It's a beautiful beer.
I purposely didn't say any of those because I knew you guys would pick up the ball.
It's getting there.
Just wait till I go.
Okay, wait till he goes. Yes. I think you nailed two of his. And the other one's just another absolute classic, Celebrator.
Yeah.
Right. That's pumpernickel bread in the glass almost, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
It's got so much darkness and meat to it. It's just such a great beer. And
like I said, I love Salvatore, but I think if you were to open a dictionary and look up Doppelbock, Celebrate would be the picture in there.
It's the picture, yeah.
Yes. And my favorite thing about it
is Aventinus is a Weizen Doppelbock, so it's a wheat Doppelbock.
Yes.
But
the thing with Celebrator, anybody who was ever at my place in Morris Plains was in the beer room. The dining room was the beer room. It was just full of beer, memorabilia and beer and more memorabilia and glassware. Everything that I could hang something on had one of those little white plastic goats hanging from it.
There you go.
Because I had drank that much of it, I just hung them all over the place.
Yeah. That's it. That's awesome. All right. So my top three. All right. First of all,
are we on third beers yet? Just to
you can open your third beer. Go for it.
Yeah. Do I have a third beer?
Do I have time to go to the bathroom?
Why don't you go to the bathroom and Matt will open his beer? Yeah, sure.
That's because you may have heard except for one. I think you've heard all the beers that Johnny's going to mention.
Here's my glass. This is an 8-ounce can.
An 8-ounce can.
8-ounce
greatest thing. This is literally the greatest thing ever made. An 8-ounce can.
Absolutely.
For barrel aged stout. I was like, I am such a fan of this. I think more breweries should do this.
Absolutely.
I love having big bottles of beer, but like if there's one thing the pandemic taught me, it's like I can't crack a 750 of bourbon barrel aged stout
by yourself. You can't do it. No.
I can, but I'd hate my.
Why would you?
Next day. So like this right here is about the exact amount of beer that I want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's enough. It's not like an ounce. It's like way more than that. So you'll still get to drink it and warm up and open up. But
absolutely.
It's not a giant glass of it where you're like trying to fight through the finish of it.
Right. Exactly.
So,
well, anyway. I wanted to, since we talked about a few Doppelbocks here, I decided to open the only Doppelbock that's in my fridge. It's from Seattle. It's Ghost Fish Brewing. It is a gluten-free Doppelbock. And I got to say, I usually turn my nose up at gluten-free beers. This one actually delivers. I really enjoy this one.
Very nice.
I don't know if I can get any more of it, but
speaking of gluten-free beers, we had a little New Jersey brewery have a medal in the GABF.
Did they?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. Yes, we did.
So give a shout out, Matt.
Big shout out to Departed Souls and Brian. I believe they won a silver medal in gluten-free.
Cheers,
beer.
Mr. Brian Kolbecki.
Yes.
Well, I will cheers them with a gluten-free Doppel.
Great job by them. I think the other ones we had is it Mechanical Brewing?
Mechanical won something. Yep.
And then John Kampanik.
Spellbound won. Yeah.
They won another silver for Palo Santo Porter, which.
Yep. Yeah, that beer's
yeah, absolutely.
That beer's is crazy.
I'm still amazed that this is gluten-free and delivers all the caramel flavors.
I'm just drinking another Oktoberfest, guys. So
there you go.
Cheers.
Yep, cheers.
Prost. There you go.
Prost.
All right, my top three. Here we go. All right, this is the way it's going to play out. Ready? I'm gonna say my. I went the same route as Matt, right? I'm gonna give you my three styles, and then give you beers for each of them. Okay, and my three styles are Doppelbocks, Schwarzbiers, and alt beers. You pain in the ass. So
it's like we've drank a lot of beer and know each other well or something.
You think? Could be. Anyway, I'm gonna start with alt beers. Okay, like you did. But I'm gonna be different because my favorite Sticker Alt is Your Each. No, it's the same damn thing. Thank you very much. Yeah, same damn thing. And I was fortunate enough because it's very, very, very difficult to find. When you come across it, get a bunch of them because they're not out there all that often. But I was fortunate enough. I was up in Portland, Maine, last month.
So was I.
Middle of August, yeah. And I was sitting in a bar called named Navarre Res, across from somebody that looks a lot like you, Dave.
That poor ugly schmuck.
Yeah, and I ordered one of these. So I was actually going to order another one and then another one, but I didn't think we were staying that long. So.
Also because let's see, I ordered 4 beers, and only by the time I got to the 4th one did they actually have it.
Right. Well, it's funny. You ordered 4 beers, and then I looked at her. I'll have the Your Each Stick Alt, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we got that."
Yeah.
Really. I don't know why you didn't order one, but
because I was determined to find something.
You wanted something else, yeah.
The tragedy of that is I feel like probably not a lot of people know what that is.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
That's the tragedy.
It's a style of beer that is absolutely amazing.
Probably one of the best beers on that list.
It's so damn good. If seriously, anybody listen to this, if you're watching it, rewatching it, if you're listening to the audio podcast, if you like at all any malty type of beers, any German beers, seek this beer out, or any Sticker Alt beer by any means, or any alt beer for that matter. It's just an amazing style. It's an unsung style. It's an underappreciated style. You really need to look for it. It's so good, especially this one. Your Each is the Doppelstick is so good
and smooth for the alcohol.
Yep. And I will mention one thing though. You mentioned Double Bag. Double Bag is awesome, and I get it occasionally. I'll buy a 6-pack a year, maybe or more. Of Double Bag, but I will mention this, and it's due to the fact that it's no longer production because the brewery is gone. But Heavyweight Brewing, formerly of Ocean, New Jersey, they closed like 15 years ago. Their Stick and Jab alt beer was an amazing Stick Alt. It was really good.
If you followed the show over the year, one of our top 3 were beers that are no longer produced.
Right.
And Stick and Jab was right at the top of your list.
That was at the top of my list, absolutely. So I'll move on to Doppelbock. Doppelbock, Aventinus would be on the top of my list. It really would be. But anybody that's listening to the show and it just knows me knows that Aventinus is one of my go-to beers. If I walk into a bar that has 150 taps, and there could be a million great things, or 150 great things on tap. If Aventinus is on tap, that's the first beer I'm having.
I thought it was Weihenstephaner's.
I'll be honest with you. If Weihenstephaner, Hef, and Aventinus are on tap, Weihenstephaner, Hef is the first beer I'm having. Aventinus is the second beer I'm having.
There you go.
You got to go Vitus, then Aventinus. Come on.
Well, if they have all 3, that's a different story. Then I don't even look at the rest of the damn tap list. I'm good. But
I just had a Vitus a couple weekends ago.
So aside from Aventinus having a mention, Andex, you were Dave before you drank the Helles Lager, Andex. Their Doppelbock is a very good Doppelbock. It's very tasty.
I'm not sure I've had that. I've got to find that.
It's a very good Doppelbock. They do a good job with that. Whatchamacallit, Paul Anner was on my list, but I need to meld it. I can't have the same list as Matt, so. We need to move it around a little bit, but Andex Doppelbock is Andex is a great one. And then everybody knows one of my favorite styles, period, is Schwarzbiers. I'm a Schwarzbier whore. So there's so many good Schwarzbiers out there. I mean, Kostritzer, both of you mentioned it. I'll mention it again because you both mentioned it. That's like the Holy Grail. We'll call it the Holy Grail, if you will.
Yeah, because it's not all that hard to find.
It's not all that hard to find, so you really can't call it the Holy Grail. But it's the pinnacle, if you will, when it comes to Schwarzbiers. It's the measuring stick. It's the whatever yardstick.
I'll go on the measuring stick.
All right.
Yeah.
But in any event, as far as recently I'll go that route. Has that? I was just out in Pittsburgh in July, and stopped in Hofbrau. Hofbrau actually has a location in Pittsburgh, and they do, with the exception of 2 Hofbrau beers, they brew everything in Pittsburgh. They get their Maibach and they get their Märzen from Germany. Everything else they brew in Pittsburgh, and they had just brewed literally just kegged it a couple of days before I was there. They did a Schwarzbier, and it was phenomenal. It was very, very good. One of the better ones that I've had recently. But I will make mention, same as I did with Stick and Jab from Heavyweight, one of my favorite all-time Schwarzbiers, other than Kostritz or whatever, local-wise, would be Cricket Hills, Cricket's Nocturne. They have not brewed that beer in almost 10 years, but that was probably one of the best beers, or one of my favorite beers anyway, that they brewed.
Did you have the Source one? The Source.
The Source one earlier this year, the Joel Schwarzbier.
And we did an Instagram live.
We did an Instagram live, and we drank the Joel Schwarzbier off the lager tank.
Off the lager tank. That's right. Yeah. Well,
I had it off the tank with Greg and Jeremy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Johnny, wait till you get to Sylvaticus.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good.
Yeah,
one.
that's going to be good, especially if Jay's there.
Yes.
So I think we'll get the.
Well, as long as we let him know we're coming.
Absolutely. So, anyway, so that's my list. There you go. So, anyway, all right.
But we only mentioned Vitus in passing.
I really
thought one of you guys was going to go that route. That's the only reason I didn't say it.
Well, I love Vitus, but I got lazy and went all three classics.
Yeah.
There you go.
Damn straight up.
Look, the bottom line here is there's so much good German beer out there,
mm-hmm.
and whether it's from Germany or just brewed in the U.S. or elsewhere.
I mean, you could have gone Maibach too, even though technically it's made for the spring. A great Maibach is fantastic in the fall.
Sure,
well,
it is.
I was drinking a Helles.
Maibach, Helles.
Well, I mean, Märzens are traditionally Oktoberfest beers.
But
Märzen means March. It's brewed in March for around the same time as Maibachs are. So.
I think Maibachs are the opposite.
Maibachs are May. Maibachs are May.
Maibachs are brewed at the end of the harvest and then lagered all winter.
All winter, and they're released then. But the Märzens are Märzen means March, like I said. But,
and they bring out the goat.
March at the end, like they're almost at the end of their barley stores for the winter. Mm-hmm. They take what's left and then they brew the Marzen.
They brew the Marzen,
lager all year.
Exactly. So
everything else,
it's the way to do it. And those are the two, like I said, too, the Hofbrau location. Those are the two Hofbrau beers that Hofbrau in Germany brews, and they send out to all their other locations. But
is fall too early for an Eisbach, though?
Never.
To brew it? Certainly not. To drink it.
Or is that you really want to be in winter for an Eisbach?
I have a 1.4 ounce bottle of an Eisbach in my cellar.
I've seen that.
Yeah, that at some point I'm going to have. But people have told me that have had theirs before. By the way, it's Brewdog's strength by numbers or strength in numbers. It's 57.8% Eisbach. So it was pure heat. Somebody had one. We bought a bunch of them. One of the guys that had it. And I'll just say it. Brian actually had it, and he said it was complete. It was so hot. It was not undrinkable, but it was unenjoyable. Yeah. So those things are going to sit for a while.
All those highest ABV beers in the world, none of them are going to be enjoyable. Come on.
No.
If you sit for a while, maybe you can sip it and it'll be a little bit better.
What was the one? The End of the World, the one that they put into taxidermied roadkill?
The End of History or whatever?
End of History, yeah.
You literally put it in, taxidermied animals.
Yeah, exactly.
No, taxidermied roadkill.
Roadkill.
They actually took dead animals off the road, taxidermied them, and
squirrels
shoved the
bottles.
They had to be in
decent
shape just to be taxidermied.
Right. Well, I mean, they probably only made about 100 bottles of the damn thing. I mean,
so they didn't have to do too much scouring.
But the other one under that would be
Sink
the Bismarck, which I never had.
They use Stoats, which is such a British thing.
Right.
We don't have Stoats.
Yes, they use Stoats.
The one under that was their fourth one down.
Squirrels and Stoats.
Stoats, there you go.
I was like, I had friends that were like, did they spell stout wrong? And I'm like, no.
Nope, Stoats.
It's a weasel.
Yeah, it's like a weasel. It's a stout.
But they're one under that, and it's a 38 or 39% beer would be Tactical Nuclear Penguin, and I did have that a couple times. And that at 39% was Scotch. It has not had no characteristics of beer whatsoever.
And yet every single year.
Did you guys have my barley port?
I did not.
Oh,
You've told me about it for years, and
actually, Tim, you'll appreciate this. I'll bring you some too. This is the dumbest homebrew I've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 15 pounds of grain and 4 pounds of sugar for a 3-gallon batch.
Oh, Jesus.
And then I fermented it with sherry floor yeast. And then I added 40 ounces of Irish whiskey and 2 ounces of lactic acid and put it next to my heater for like 2 years. And
2 years.
and then literally put it on oak for a year and a half. And then added like vanilla, beans, and maple syrup. And the math is like ridiculous, but my only estimate is that it's about 30% ABV.
What was your OG?
What's up? Oh, it was ridiculous. But the problem is that it's with cherry floor yeast. And then I kept adding stuff to it. Like I added maple syrup, I added a bunch of stuff. So it's like you kept feeding it. And then I added 40 ounces. I added literally an entire bottle of Irish whiskey to it. To a 3-gallon batch. So it's like it's almost like a quarter Irish whiskey.
Right.
Still beer?
What?
Was it still beer?
I mean, it's still beer.
It's beer-ish.
It's funny because what?
It's like port, so it's like fortified beer. So I don't call it a barley wine. I call it a barley port.
Barley port. It's fortified beer. There you go.
It's technically a barley port, but it it's actually, it smells not great, and then it tastes really good. It's like kind of weird. Like you're like smelling it, you're like, oh, that smells boozy.
It's just funny because more often than not, you get a beer that smells fantastic, but it doesn't necessarily taste bad, but the flavor doesn't hold up to the aroma.
Like you get smacked with alcohol, and then you drink it, and you're like, oh, that's pretty smooth. Well, I mean, because I had the oak and the vanilla and everything added to it, so it's like it smoothed it out a lot. I mean, I had this thing fermenting for like 5 years.
Right.
Oh, jeez.
It's been in a fermenter for like 5 years, so it's like
It brings up an interesting point.
It's such a ridiculous project. And I can never recreate it because it'll never come out exactly the same. So
of course not.
You can never do it on a commercial level. This is all homebrew because it's like
no, you couldn't.
You're just taking a bottle of whiskey.
Well, forget about it. You can't put whiskey. You can't do that. Yes.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But that brings up an interesting point because every year the magazines and newspapers go crazy every time, Sam Adams puts out that concoction that they make.
Illegal in 20 states.
Yeah, well, because it's
because they don't. Yeah, it's illegal in 20 states because maybe it's illegal in a couple of them. I know it's illegal in Ohio, obviously, but it's illegal in 20 states because it's not distributed to 20 states. Some of them.
It exceeds the
ABV that's allowed in those states for beer.
For a beer, so that's
for
the question: is where does a beer end and a whiskey begin?
Well, I mean, of all the ones all the really ridiculously high ABV beers that I've had, Utopias is the easiest to drink.
There's brewing and there's fermentation and there's distilling. Those are two different processes.
Sure.
So that's the thing is what I've done with mine is I had to add that much.
Fortified. Yeah.
I fortified it, but you have to add that much whiskey and the lactic acid to have the sherry floor yeast work the way it's supposed to work.
Okay, so then another way with that question is an Eisbock is a beer.
Yes.
It's almost the reverse of
distillation.
Right?
Again, and that's technically free. That's technically freeze distilled. So that's
it's freeze distilled. You're freezing it.
It's distilling
freezing it, draining
cold
it.
distilling rather than hot distilling.
But you're also talking that a strong Eisbock is still maybe like 12 to 15 max.
Right.
What
Brewdog did with the strength and numbers.
Those were all freeze distilled.
They were all freeze distilled, but but that's why they made 1.4 ounce bottles of it, right? They didn't have pallets.
Well, that's because they probably started with like 5 gallons to make that 1.4.
They started with 5 gallons, and they probably wound up with a gallon of beer, so they had to figure out how to, maximize their effort.
Yes.
There's a difference between full distillation with heat and then freeze distillation, because freeze distillation is still only fractionally distilling it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If you actually add heat, you're fully distilling it, and you're just basically isolating out.
Exactly.
Just two different methods of removing water.
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. All right. On that note, Tim, any
interesting way
to wrap up the show? Tim, any interesting things coming up in the very near future for Wet Ticket besides the bands, obviously, that you mentioned before? Any releases, holiday releases, seasonal releases coming up? Interesting.
I will tell you the one beer I am looking forward to, and we haven't even designed it yet. But there's a lady in town. We have a graphic design shop in our town called Wisdom Media.
Okay.
And she painted a painting that I happened to see, and it's a young lady. The colors are just outstanding. Her name is Cheryl Rosenstock, and so we're designing a new IPA called Elsie. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Nice.
We're coming up with a new recipe for going in reverse. It's an image. We're going to make a beer. So that's the simple one.
That's awesome.
That is interesting, considering I've created a few cocktails based off of artwork.
There you go.
I feel like you have what is
Elsie.
Elsie. Inspiration comes from a lot of different places.
You gotta have like yellow hops in that.
There you go.
You want me to call on you to help me out, Matt.
I'm ready to come by the brewery anytime and grab a beer and we can sit and chat.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's been way too long since I've been there. I was there. I went there briefly a couple months ago and I missed you.
I know. I got your text, but unfortunately I was home on the couch.
I was there as well. It was a Sunday. We stopped there. Al met us, but you were not there. It was a weekend too. It was a Sunday.
Yeah.
You need some time off. So
I was there this weekend, but I was gonna head down and meet up with him, but my day got busy and he left sooner than I would ever had a chance to make it there. So
anyway.
I think it was actually Friday.
I went there and they had so they make an imperial oatmeal stout and they put it in barrels and then they had a variant of it with coconut. So I was like, I texted Tim real quick. I was like, hey, I don't know who's bartending, but can you tell her to give me a sample of that coconut imperial barrel aged stout? Next thing I know, there was like a little glass in front of me with the stout in it. And that was if you did the porter half as good as that, then the porter is going to be awesome. And I can't wait.
John, when we did our top 3 favorite adjuncts, what was mine?
I think what was that? Coconut?
I think it was coconut.
I think it was coconut. Yeah.
Let me know when you're coming by, Dave.
Yeah, I've got it. We're gonna see what's going on this week. And if it rains on Sunday, then maybe Sunday. Otherwise, I'm gonna be up on Bear Mountain.
There you go. I don't think it's supposed to rain Sunday. It's supposed to be a decent weekend, halfway decent, but
I hope so.
It's a chance, but whatever.
I'm going up to the Adirondacks to hike some of the high peaks. I got to get some training in.
You gotta get in.
Sunday, 50% rain.
50.
Yeah, I thought it might be
That's here in Sayreville. I don't know how far. Bear Mountain might be a little different, but
it might be. I gotta look.
Yes. Have you ever been up to Storm King, which is only a little bit further up?
Yep. I have hiked Storm King, I think, at least 4 times.
Because I like Storm King more than Bear Mountain personally.
Oh, so do I. And the great thing about Storm King is it's not too far from Newburgh, and you go hit Newburgh Brewing afterwards. Stand in the corner away from everybody because you're going to reek after climbing Storm King because that's there's some effort.
And then if you go over there, you got to go up and you go over the bridge and over into Beacon, and you got to hit Hudson Valley. So
you got to hit Hudson Valley. There's another brewery there that I skip.
There's another brewery there you skip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll leave it alone.
We'll leave that alone.
I'm actually not sure what you mean, so we'll leave it alone.
I'll let you know when we sign off. There's a great gastropub there too, not too far from Hudson Valley Brewing.
Right.
Can't remember the name of it right now.
Was it Industrial Arts? Didn't they open a space in Beacon?
Have they?
I believe they have.
If they've done so, it's been recently.
Somebody opened a space in Beacon, and I think it's Industrial Arts.
I think you're right. I think they have. I haven't been there since they opened, though. Yeah. And Beacon also has the only Doctor Who-themed restaurant in the United States.
That's great. Gotta love it. A Doctor Who-themed restaurant. So,
yes.
Anyway,
that is definitely a commitment to a theme.
Yeah, you gotta love it.
The artwork is fantastic in there. I was there just in I think December, and they had like those killer snowmen as centerpieces on all the tables.
You have to enter the restaurant through a phone booth too.
Yeah, that's the only way.
Yeah, they don't do that.
Well, that's like there's some speakeasies. A speakeasy in the city.
And don't tell.
PDT. Yeah, please don't tell.
Please don't tell. Yeah.
You walk into Criff Dogs, go into a phone booth, walk in through the other side, and then you're in the speakeasy.
You've got to call first, though.
You got to pick up. Well, you don't have to call. You just pick up the phone. They pick it up on the other side. So you don't have to dial anything. But my favorite drink in there, the LES Globetrotter, Lower East Side Globetrotter.
Does it have gin in it?
It's bourbon and
really?
And Grand Marnier and a couple other things. It's so good though. But here's the thing: it's not on their menu. You can ask for it, and they'll make it for you. It's not on their menu though.
Okay, so when I finally make it in there, I'll have to text
so
you. What the hell was that drink?
A drink that's not on the menu to a speakeasy that you barely got to get into.
Exactly.
That is like that's
You have to give the bartender like the secret handshake.
Pretty much.
There's a retinal scan involved.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. Yeah, exactly.
There's doors that open and close, and then it'll close on your nose.
Right. So, anyway, all right. Well, this has been great, Tim. Thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
Great having you
And
on.
when are you getting the lederhosen to match the hat?
Yes, you got to get the lederhosen
right,
on that
listen.
too.
Anything for you guys to put on a dusty hat,
There
talk
you
beer.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
Keep up the
having me.
good work up there.
I'm
Yes.
honored to be here on your
Keep
one
up the
year
good work,
anniversary. Good
I
luck.
hope to see you guys soon.
Thank you so much.
Tim,
Appreciate
thanks
it.
for being here.
Tim, don't go anywhere. Matt, don't go anywhere. We'll talk after we sign off. We'll wrap up the show at this point for
We
today.
had this moment together.
There you go. You wanna tug on your ear? Or, there you
Perfect
go.
amount of bourbon barrel aged stout.
Perfect amount of
There
bourbon.
we go.
Exactly. So, anyway, we'll wrap the show up on that note for today. We want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you just listening, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.logroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and, of course, our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night at 6:30. And for those of you that just want to listen to the audio podcast-ish, just listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts. Plus, the show is now available on Amazon Music Podcast and iHeartRadio as well. And if you have not done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Tim, thank you so much for coming on with us. We really appreciate it. Good luck with everything you're doing up at Wet Ticket, and we will get up there soon. We'll let you know when we're coming up, and we'll sit down and we'll have a few beers with you.
And thanks to Matt for his fourth appearance in the show.
Thanks to Matt for his fourth appearance on the show. He now is in the lead right now.
Well, the fourth intentional appearance.
Fourth intentional appearance. You're tied with Augie,
who beat
but
him
he
before.
just popped on to a show once. So you're tied with Augie, but fourth intentional appearance. So you're in the lead.
And you guys will be on the show for the fifth time together.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll still be tied in 2 weeks. So anyway.
But we'll have to have Charlie on. That way you can surpass Augie.
Exactly. There you go.
Don't say his name again.
Yeah, don't say it. That was 2.
You said it twice. That's
yeah,
it.
exactly. Done. All right.
Here, the third one.
So, anyway, have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And we will talk to you soon, folks. Take care, guys.
Happy Beer Day.
Happy Beer Day. Prost.
Happy Drink Beer Day.
Cheers.